Welcome to another episode of the All Systems Go podcast. I'm your host, Chris L. Davis. And today, listen, everybody, today we get to talk about tech. All right. I've got I say my because Samantha Pointer Foxx is a certified automation service provider. She has gone through the rigors of, of my program and has come out tested, tried and true. And who better than one of my own trusted people to talk about technology and how to leverage it? This is gonna be a recurring theme. We want to make sure that you all have a good understanding of the technological landscape is always changing so fast and so frequently. So she's going to jump on and talk to us about some of the apps that are out there that she's looking at. I'll add some that I'm looking at, how you can be looking at leveraging them, and just give you a good lay of the land. So for those of you who don't know, Samantha has been on the podcast before. She's the founder and owner of Samantha Pointer Enterprises and Sam's Tech Academy. She helps small business owners and CEOs who need their marketing systems automated, but don't want to touch the tech or do it themselves. That's extremely important. Okay. When you don't want to touch the tech, there's a place for you to come. All right. Her audit to automation service connects strategic planning, process, documentation, technology, automation implementation, and data to help organizations optimize and grow. Samantha, welcome back to the podcast. Glad to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me again.
Yes. So I'm spoiled, everybody. I get to engage with Samantha and a plethora of other super sharp marketing automators. They keep me honest, by the way. So I, a lot of times on the podcast, I speak about things as, from the expert's position, but listen, we need help too. We need our sometimes our North Star gets a little off. And furthermore, my eyes just that as good as they used to be, Samantha, there's technology just evolving and coming out so fast. Even I can't keep up with this. So let me start off by asking you this. Samantha, what CRM software are you preferring these days?
Well, I'm still on Active Campaign. Still love Active Campaign.
Hmm.
I also have Keep 2, but I'm really liking Active Campaign because it does everything.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm using. Of course, I'm using it in conjunction with a lot of other uh, software out there, so I'm not just stuck in one place.
Hmm.
But that's where my main hub is.
Yeah, I'll second that, everyone. Yes, I am still in active campaign. A lot of people, they heard my the high level podcast,
Oh yeah,
and I got a lot of response. People were like, "Hey, you can do this. Hey, it's ready. That's available." And I know they're probably wondering. And Samantha, who knows? By the time that this podcast is actually released, you all are gonna have to check in on me and see
yes.
if this is still the case. And why am I saying that? I'm saying it because this is what I've realized has changed in the CRM landscape is that when we first came out, Office Autopilot, Infusionsoft were the primaries. And if a
Hmm.
small business wanted to do automation, it was done with those tools. There
Right.
was no native automation and no other tools. I remember using the Trellos. Everything was manual. Trellos
Yeah.
had like a turbo pack or something like that. Remember
Oh yeah.
that?
Yep.
But still no real automation. I remember using Asana and all of that. Well, fast forward, I'm not going to belabor everybody with all the details, but fast forward to now. Well, let me not fast forward to now. There was a transitional time where, Active Campaign came into the spot and their whole thing was look at how integrated we are. We can
Right.
integrate with any and everything. So now people are starting to become familiar with the Zapiers out there, maybe in the Integramats and all of that. And then what happened is I feel like the software companies were like, hey, you don't need them to integrate with us. We'll do automation within our platform so you don't have to rely on Zapier and all of these other things.
Exactly.
And yes, it's beautiful. I remember I'm just watching it take place. And I'm like, yes, more automation, more automation. And then you look up, fast forward to right now, and you look at your CRM software and you're like, you know what? I'm actually doing automation in you
Mm-hmm.
and here and here and here and here and here. So the dependency, let me say maybe for experts, I don't want to say for the marketplace yet, but for those who are savvy, the reliance that we used to have solely on CRM software is no longer there. So once you start to identify your needs as a business, like, okay, this is what I need a CRM to do, you may be able to pull that off with a Airtable combo and something else and some minimal email sending. I'm not telling you to stop using your CRM software right now, everybody. I'm just saying, you never know. The landscape is evolving. So with that being said, I want to ask you about one of the core things that you do a lot, and that's organization. You are the organizing guru, by the way, and she does own that website, organizingguru.com. But the thing that I want people to understand is that you do it in a digital way. So it
Yes.
may be manual where you're coming in helping them organize, but then you have these tools that allow you to do that. And of the three that I know I've worked with you with are Zapier, Make, and Pabbly to
Mm-hmm.
kind of move stuff around, create files in Dropbox, Drive, and all of that. Just give us a little insight on ways that you're using those tools or other tools to do some digital management.
Well, as far as Zapier and Make, I was using those to actually like create documents and upload them where they need to go,
Mm-hmm.
especially once it's in Airtable, moving stuff in the Airtable. But now Airtable has its own automations that have grown even since when we first started
I
looking
know.
at it, last year.
Yeah.
And I've actually been using Airtable automations to send out weekly updates to my clients because I can just type in the little Airtable field what I need to and hit a button and it sends
Yeah.
it out through my Gmail account, through my
Mm.
Google account.
Yeah.
I don't need Zapier or Make or Pabbly for that anymore. Whereas before, I would have to connect that up. So as more software are getting on the bandwagon of hey native automations, there's going to be so much more you can do, and like you said, not having to be dependent on one thing,
Yeah.
which I don't like being stuck one place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially as your business grows, as you get more clients, that's gonna be just crazy trying to, if you ever want to move to something else, trying to move all that information. So it's great to just have stuff redundant backups, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Redundancy is huge. Repetitiveness in marketing is huge. Redundancy in
Yes.
automation is huge. So you need both of those R's, everybody. And you mentioned something, Samantha. You talked about sending emails from Airtable. Some people don't realize you can do that. And
Yes.
and and now we've been, when I say we, us in the community, we've been doing this for a while, because this is where you learn how to do all of these strategies. But I found that to be one of the most small but effective features of Airtable. And when I found it out, I immediately implemented it in my podcast, Airtable,
Mhm.
where I manage everything. And now when I want to invite somebody to schedule, it's literally just a custom field, change the status from potential to invite to schedule, and it
Mhm.
sends out the email, and it does it, everybody, on your behalf, on behalf of your Gmail account. So you don't misinterpret what I'm saying. You
Right.
cannot use Airtable as an autoresponder to
No.
one to many
Please
communication.
don't do
Okay, that's not what it is. That's not what it's for. That's not what it will ever be.
that. No.
But for those one-to-one specific use cases where you can automate that sending, absolutely great. And then speaking of Airtable and organization, I found that I'm pretty much using Now maybe there's an argument, and this is probably specific to like what industry you're in,
Hmm.
between Notion as your wiki and you like
Hmm.
single source of truth, and Airtable. Perhaps it's just my inability to grasp my mind, wrap my mind around Notion and really configure it in the way that it's quote unquote supposed to be. But I
Hmm.
just keep going back to Airtable.
So I use both.
All right, all right,
I, I have a business hub and a, personal hub in Notion. Of course,
okay,
I bought templates, so I'm not having to go from scratch because that's the hardest part.
and that's
I'd
probably
rather
my
pay
issue.
somebody who's already
Yep,
got everything linked up how it needs to be.
yep.
And because I can embed stuff into Notion, I embed my Airtable databases. So if I need to see something quickly, I embed my ClickUp task if I need to see something quickly, because even though you can do tasks in Notion, it's still it's still I don't like it,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
yeah, if you're not checking it daily, yeah, you can set reminders, but if you're not going in there, it's just not as intuitive to me as ClickUp. So I
yep.
rather just keep everything in ClickUp as far as that. But I can embed my Airtable stuff. So if I'm using it like a client portal, if I have their information or their database that because I organize my clients' CRM, Active Campaign, Keep, whatever, in Airtable, I can embed that right in their thing in Notion. So
Mm,
that's one way you can use it to use both. But I still keep all my content, uh, social media stuff like that, in Airtable because it's just easier. It's easier. It's more. I'm very visual, so the UI is better to me,
yep.
and I just click around and do what I need to do. Where Notion, I love Notion, but there's still some things, you know, that is still working on. So that's how I use both of them together, so I can always see my information no matter where I'm at or which one I'm in at the time.
Yeah.
But like my content hub, that's easier to share with my VA from Airtable. She can go in and do what she needs to do, and then I don't need to share my Notion information. So
Yeah. And I'll say as you were mentioning that, one of the cool things about these tools is that there is some connect plug and play,
yes.
right? So you can keep things in Airtable and still embed it in Notion to get the best of both worlds. I find, and they're improving on it. Notion is improving on it, but I find that I lean to Airtable more and more, of course, over time because of their ability to integrate, right? Like
Right.
they integrate with so many tools that I already use. And
Mhm.
then another shout out to another ASP program alumni, Alicia, when she showed us how to do webhooks or scripts out
Yeah.
of Airtable at any time, and then now I can put information anywhere. Now
Mhm.
to do that, I've got to catch it. I need to catch it with like Make or Zappy or something
Right.
like that. But still, it unlocks such a world of possibilities. And by the way, everyone, this is what I would call a certified conversation. So these a lot of the insight that you're hearing Samantha and I talk about, just kind of like, oh yeah, and then we do this. Well, this is a little bit of a higher level of a conversation
Based on the
on
industry
based on the industry that we're in, on purpose. It's intentional. I don't want to leave you out. Those of you who are just getting started, when you listen to podcasts like this, there should be a little bit of overwhelm. We're just helping you see bigger and what's available and what's out there. By no means are we telling you to go about this alone. Okay,
right.
this is why we're here
Touch your
because we
tag, don't touch it.
don't touch
just,
it.
just want you to know what's available and what we can
Yes, yes. And speaking of which, you mentioned ClickUp. One of the ways that I found ClickUp to be more useful for me. So first off, as I'm realizing something, Samantha, and their software, another certified partner, Morgan Edwards, recommended. I think it was Sunsama. I think it's
Oh
I
yes,
may be
yes.
saying it wrong or right, but
Yeah.
yeah, and essentially it is software dedicated to the founder, the CEO, right? Because you may have multiple businesses. Your view of the business may be different than kind of like the project management view. And that's what I find myself doing is that ClickUp is great for all of my team to get in and keep track. And if I need to, I've had my operations manager create dashboards and quick links to stuff that I need to see. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, my experience with ClickUp is overwhelming. Like
Yes.
it just overwhelms me. It slows me down. There's too much going on, even when stuff is hidden, because I may need
Mm-hmm.
to find something. Then I click on something and like all these tasks. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? So what I found is this Sun Sama is kind of like the version of a project manager that is very high level. It can get down to the nitty gritty of the task and everything, but I found that ClickUp works really well for collaboration,
Right.
whereas Notion could, right? I can assign tasks there, but
Mm-hmm.
ClickUp I can attach Loom videos. I can do all kind of automation within there and
Mm-hmm.
around tasks. So Notion, I think for anybody to truly unlock the true potential of Notion, I believe
Mm-hmm.
you need to have somebody that knows what they're doing,
Exactly.
right? Like either buy a product or hire somebody to come in.
Already built out.
There you go.
So you're not starting from scratch. If you try to start from scratch, you will be overwhelmed
Yeah.
for seriously. Um, Another thing I like to do in Notion is embed like the whimsical maps and stuff because it just shows up nice.
Ooh, whimsical. Yes. So
And you
embedding
can do
maps.
that in ClickUp too in their
Yeah, that's
documents,
true. That's
and
true.
I will be I would love to see how it looks in 3.0. Uh, but what won me with Notion is if the person I'm sharing it with ClickUp is not a guest, it's like it shows up weird. It doesn't show up as cleanly
Mm,
as Notion
mm-hmm.
does.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
again, visual, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. And speaking of which, at the time of recording this, ClickUp 3.0 is not out. It's been
it's rolling out
announced.
this
Let me say this. Let me just pause for a second. Let me talk about ClickUp real quick. First off, sometimes I get confused whether they're a project management software company or an entertainment company. Okay?
Oh
I
wow!
mean,
Hey,
trust me, I get the performances. I think they have an album. They dropped an album. I like all of it. Samantha, I'm not talking bad about any of that.
I don't
Here's
like
my issue. You've been talking about 3.0 for over a year. Okay.
yes,
The last thing I want to hear and see is a rap album or a concert. I want 3.0 because you've been talking about it for so long.
yes,
It's different if they never mentioned 3.0 and then they're
right,
like announcing and then it came with all of the performance and all of that. That's exciting. And then you delivered
yeah.
on it. But we were supposed to have that last year.
Last year, yes,
And
early last year.
early last year. Now watch this, Samantha. I get the production, I get the album, I get all of that. If 3.0 flops, it means nothing. It
At
means
all.
absolutely. I'm not. If I got the ClickUp album, I may just throw it away. I'm not listening to that
Maybe
garbage.
like, I'm going to that direction.
You get what I'm saying? So that's my only thing is stay true to who you are. I'm not against all of the extra stuff, but deliver the primary first. So again, at the time of recording this, it has not dropped. It'll be out by the time this episode is out. And we'll talk about it. Now, if you're in the community, you'll know my feedback live, right?
Yeah,
You don't have to wait. There's a delay between when we record and when we produce. So make sure you join the community. But I am rooting for ClickUp. Honestly, everything that they said that would be available in the app, I'm
yes.
like yes, this is great. This is exactly the things that
I
I've
want.
been. Yep, this is what I want. So if they pull it off, I'll be a proud ClickUp user and have a new album.
Yep.
Right?
I'll
If they
pass on the
right.
album.
I haven't listened. I haven't listened to any of the songs. Like when I scroll through LinkedIn and my other social platforms, I never have the sound on. So I'm always just looking at. They're like, That's that's all I see. And I'm like, it sounds like they're really into whatever they're saying. So I never
Yeah.
have heard it personally. So anyways, so you mentioned mapping. Now this is
Yes.
my heart leaps with joy of the many maps and many ways that you can map. What software are you preferring the most and for which applications? Because everybody as automation service providers, we're not never limited to one software. We usually
Right.
have multiple use cases, and each use case requires a different software. So where are you at with your mapping stack?
Okay, so when I started, of course, it was Lucid Chart.
Yep, yep.
It was a bit overwhelmed. It just too many clicks to do things.
Yeah.
Then I went to Miro, which
Mm-hmm.
I still love Miro.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
but again, it's overwhelming with all that you can do with it.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I agree.
and then we were introduced to Whimsical. So now I'm a proud paid member of Whimsical because it's just easy for me to get in and get out,
Oh man.
and especially if you're new to mapping, I would start with Whimsical first because it's just clean. There's
Yep.
not a whole bunch of stuff to distract you. Your main reason of being there, or it's too many options.
Yep.
Uh, so that's where I'm at now is Whimsical. I still do have a paid Miro account because Miro is good for brainstorming with your team.
Yeah.
You can actually import maps that you've done in Lucid Chart into Whimsical and get the whole shape, colors, and all that
Nice.
into Miro. Yeah, from Lucid Chart into
Mm-hmm.
Miro, which if you've done a lot of maps in Lucid Chart, that's great. So you don't have to try to rebuild it from scratch. As of right now, you would have to rebuild it in Whimsical, but hopefully it'll get that feature going soon. Uh, but yeah, I just love how quickly that I can have so many different things in Whimsical and just map out the process, do different kind of maps, logic
Mm-hmm.
maps, process maps, brainstorming, uh, and share it easily,
Yep.
quickly, and it's just a clean UI. So
Yep.
that's my what I'm in love with right now is Whimsical.
Yeah. And another shout out to another student alumni, Blair, who
Yes.
introduced us all to Whimsical. So, listeners, do you see? I am who I am because of who I'm connected with. No,
Yes.
nobody achieves and goes about this stuff on their own and alone. So, what I liked about Whimsical is it protected me from myself. I was a lucid charter, and I'm used to the multiple clicks and configuring every little piece. And Whimsical came in and said, "Hey, look, man, here's your shapes, here's your
Right.
colors, and
That's all
here's
you.
your arrow. What else do you want from me?" And I'm like, "I want more colors. I want more customization." I said, "Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Do I actually need that?" So it's really helped me not get ahead of myself. And one of the things that I really like about Whimsical is the sharing, the ease of sharing and
Yes.
collaboration. Samantha, let me give you some insight as I give everybody some insight. So I in my program, it is an official program. I don't call it a course, a program. This is a
Right.
program where you fill out information, we store the information, it's referenced, you taking assessments along the way. It's a full out program, comes with coaching calls and all of that. So part of it was you get a template from Lucidchart and you submit it, and people will be leaving comments. I would be leaving comments, and it was so hard to find. Like
It,
Lucid
uh,
Chart totally overcomplicated the sharing and collaboration part of flow charting. So here comes Whimsical. Oh my gosh. It looked like Active Campaign. When there's a comment, it's like red dots,
yep.
on
Yep.
the specific action. And it's just so much easier. So I think they've done a great job making it comprehensive. I've got to give them a knock for this. This drives me crazy. This is part of my object alignment ADD. Okay. No, OCD. OCD. Object
Yeah.
alignment OCD. Sometimes, even with Snap the Grid, the arrow, the line between it, is
Yeah.
jagged. And I'm like, why is it not a straight line? It drives me crazy. But I can forgive them for that. I'm a proud paying user. One thing that I'll mention is they launched their AI,
Yeah.
which works with their mind map. Uh,
Apps. Yeah.
which works pretty well, Samantha. You know, if
Yeah.
you just kind of want to get some ideas, and then what I would do is I take those ideas and put them into like a real AI writing platform or something like that.
GPT or something. Yeah.
hmm but for mind mapping, I wanted to throw out there. I for mind map, I like a tool called MindMeister. Everyone, and that just helps me create my thoughts, get them down, organize them, easily share it with my team. There's an OG mind map software that just moved to the cloud after like 3 years, and now nobody's really excited because they missed their moment. But maybe they'll come back. They'll resurface. Called X Mind. They were
Excellent. I
actually my
remember them.
hmm they were my
Yeah.
first one. It was all local on my computer, and I couldn't share it. But now they're in the cloud, so I'm hoping they re-emerge as a bona fide offering there. And then there's a couple other I'll save. There's a tool that I use for mapping out Airtable databases, forms, and all of that. So we do mapping. Everybody, this is core and fundamental to everything that we do. And sometimes, Samantha, I have to catch myself. I'll be building, I'll get an idea and I'll go right into the app and I have to
Yeah.
pull back. So much so, so you'd be proud of me, Samantha. Remember, everybody, we're talking to the organizing guru here. So I've even started pulling back before I create like a web page, and I
Hmm.
put it in. I don't use Notion or anything, but I put it in like Airtable so that
Hmm.
I can keep track of all the pages, what they're used for, the links, the
Right.
URLs, and all of that to easily access them. And it's been just small things like that are like huge benefits to you as you start to grow your company and need to keep track of things more easily. But we did mention AI. Now,
Yeah.
by the time somebody listens to this, hopefully the AI landscape will be that much more. There's no hopefully. Let me
Right.
take that back. It
It
will
will be.
be, because these apps are dropping like crazy. Everybody
Oh,
who's familiar with the space got exposed to it primarily through Chat GPT.
yeah.
What AI software tools out there are you using? Are you liking? Are you keeping an eye on? What's got your attention?
So, of course, my main one is Chat GPT. Um, I'm also in the playground because it does different. That's the native of Chat GPT. It's the native playground, so you can do a little bit more. It just isn't fancy looking,
Got
but
it. Got it.
you can do more. And then, of course, Notion AI, which I think is pretty. I really love Notion AI because it kicked out the like they were on it
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Canva. I played around with Canva's AI, which is in their docs.
Okay.
Um, it's okay. I'll say it's okay.
Yeah. I
It's
agree.
not
I agree.
Notion AI though, but it's okay.
Yep.
So I've been, using it to generate ideas, to analyze, web pages. To That's one thing I was using Notion for, is to dump that in there when I get an idea. I can dump it in there, keep track of all that, and generate more ideas, and then hop back into whatever tool I'm going to use for like social media, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I've been playing around with Tailwind. uh,
Mm.
they have an AI now, and Social Bee has an AI to help you, which Social Bee and Tailwind are like social media schedulers, so they help you schedule your social media.
Okay.
So it can help you write those captions, and Tailwind is really really good. They actually have like a little bubble that sits in your browser tray, so whatever site you're on, if you want to hit it and get like a share it, but also get the wording to say to it, it's right there. So I'm
Mm.
really liking it. And all these you can use for free. Of course, you got
Yeah.
limits on how much you can get. But when you're posting social media, that's kind of the hardest part. Is what do I say? What do I say? What do I say?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So more and more in these apps are having built-in AI tools to help you with that, especially these social media apps. So that's what I've been really playing around with, bulk creating in Canva. Once I get my information out of Chat GPT,
Yeah.
like I've just been immersed in the AI world for the past month or so, just with all of the possibilities, and not to just swipe what it spits out and
Yeah.
post it because that would be dumb. But
Yeah.
just to get your brain going, like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I should expand on that.
Yeah.
Even my old stuff, dropping it in there, like, how can I re-say this? How can I reword this? What can I glean new from this?
Yes.
The possibilities are endless with, and I don't, people are like scared, oh, it's gonna put copywriters out of and this and that. No, it's not, because you still need a human. You still need a
Still
human.
need a human.
You
Yep.
still need a human to go through and again to put your voice on it, and that can never be replicated to me. So just use these tools to help spark your imagination, the possibilities that's already in you, and put your spin on it to help you think outside of the box and not be so narrow. And this is how I've always said this, just expanding on stuff a new way. That to me, that's the best way to use AI, to help broaden your mind and say things differently in a different way, especially here in the technical space, because you can
Yeah.
ask it to reword it to like a seventh grade level. Because I have
Yes.
time not doing tech speak all the time, and clients like, huh, so
Yeah, I have to say, so I'm aware of Jasper AI, not used it. I've been following them for a while. And one could argue I had an opportunity to jump on, many moons ago, and I should have, because now it's really kind of taken off and everything. But I mentioned that because what I'm about to say is probably done in that platform the same, if
mhm,
not better. But I was in Notion, and Notion AI, what I found works the best if it's like document creation, if you're writing a document or something, if you have an outline. If you
right.
have an outline and you go up to the top and you're like writing the overview, and you literally you hit space bar. This is how easy it is. And a prompt jumps, or a window jumps up and says, would you like, I think it's like summarize or finish this or
Right.
something like that. You click the button and it will look at your outline, what you were going to talk about, and what the heading is of what you are writing about. And
Hmm.
its output is very contextual.
It
And
is.
that
And
surprised me because I didn't realize how many times I kind of get stuck. And I'm like, man, what to say? I'm so used to not having AI that I
right.
don't even lean on it. And then when I do, it's like 80% of what it puts out is pretty good. And I just need to tighten it up
Yeah.
some. And I think that, it'll be interesting to see what it does in the podcast space. Right now, I've tried a couple podcast AI tools. They're not really there yet. There's
Mhm.
none that I will put my stamp on just yet, but there's promise. But shout out to another certified partner, Carrie.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember the AI tool. It was for video though, but
Oh yeah.
this
Okay.
tool would transcribe and
Mm.
timestamp based on topics, like when you change topics.
Yeah.
And thinking about that and how you can now use that in conjunction with publishing on YouTube is
Right.
next level. Because Samantha, let me tell you, I'm spoiled. I do a lot of YouTube now. I do a lot of YouTube. I'm always looking on YouTube trying to find something out or learn something new. And if you don't have chapter markers, I
Yeah.
find the probability of me watching your video and scrubbing through very low when I can go watch somebody on the same topic who's got
Right.
nice little chapter markers. And
Yep.
quiet as kept, it's not that hard as long as you have timestamps
Right.
in the description, a number colon number.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube will do the heavy lifting and actually link to that appropriate space. So
Mm-hmm.
AI is one more. I believe it's called Placid. I believe we'll have to check in the community,
Yes.
but Placid allows you to generate Canva graphics from like
Yeah.
Airtable. So for me, I have, I'm gonna give you all a workflow. My podcast manager, shout out to Cassie, she does an amazing job. Um, Extracts quotes from every podcast episode and stores them in Airtable. Now that
Hmm.
they're in Airtable, I can click a button and it will send every one of those quotes to a template that I've chosen in Canva and create those quoted images for me.
Yep. Yep.
This now you mentioned replacing a person. This
Hmm.
doesn't replace a person, but this replaces a function of the person. So now that my social media manager doesn't have to worry about that, I can now get them to focus on something else, not replace them. I can
Right.
enhance their quality and value to me and my business. Best
Hmm.
put, I think I saw on Facebook, somebody was like, AI is not replacing your pilot, it's your co pilot. And I
Yes.
said, yeah, that's good. That what he said right there. So yeah, so let's Samantha, I can keep going. And you'll be back and we'll talk about some more tech and we'll mix in some workflows. If
I do
you
want to
all
say
oh yes,
one
go.
thing
Yes.
before uh, everything that we're saying and that we use. I don't want business owners to feel like they have to have all these things. It's our business to play in all these spaces and have all these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be like, oh, I can't go with you because you use this software. That the software is based on what your business needs. So we're paid to play with it all, to be on top of it all. So don't get overwhelmed by that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point to mention because what it's like this. Let me just bring it all down to you all. I own a hammer. I own a set of tools, a ratchet. I own all the basic tools to fix anything that needs to be fixed around this house and in my car. Basic.
Yep.
If in my new car, I have to replace the radiator, yes, I can go on YouTube. Yes, I could figure it out. But guess what? Watch this, Samantha. I may not own the tools to do that specific thing. And here's the
Right.
second part. I may own the tools and I don't know how to use them effectively. There's
Yeah.
no difference in the tech space. You may
Yep.
have that CRM software, you may have that database software, that form software, which we didn't touch on. We'll jump on form software next time. But
Yeah.
you may not know how to do it. You may not know how to use that tool. So, how foolish would I be if I'm trying to replace a spark plug in my engine and I need a deep socket and I don't have one, that I throw out my ratchet?
Yep.
I just throw the whole tool out because I
Right.
didn't have the correct extension to
Yes.
really use. It's the exact same thing. So some of you, yes, you're using the right technology. Some of you are not. But what we're saying is you need somebody looking over your shoulder sometimes, but most of the times walking in front of you
Hmm.
or that has already walked the path that you're going on to help recommend that software. I'll be honest, Samantha, I think it's one of the most undervalued skill sets in today's society is
It
somebody
is.
who can assess technology that is relative to your business strategy and
Hmm.
fits your business use case. And the reason being is because there's just not a lot of tinkerers with marketing acumen. When I
Right.
play with the tool, I'm thinking of all of the marketing use cases and I'm breaking it
Exactly.
for those use cases. So when I know it works, I'm like, okay, use this tool. There's just people are just picking stuff up, getting a quick win, and then recommending it. So
Hmm.
I can't stress enough. And lastly, before I give you the floor to say your final farewell here, listen to me and listen to me good, everybody. Stop touching your tech.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Okay. Let me tell you something. Okay. Would you, when the doctor is performing surgery, let's go deep, Samantha. Open heart surgery. Okay. You're wide open here. Let's just say you were woke. Would you dare take the scalpel? Would you dare say, "Hey doc, I got it. Hold on. Hold that mirror up. Yeah, that artery right there." Right? Like nobody in their right mind would even think about it. Yet, when it comes to technology, somehow, some way, and I get it, maybe there's a pride piece to it. People have an expert at their disposal and they still choose to try to touch on the tech. The only thing that your touch can do with the tech is break it. That's
Yep.
it. It may not be broke right now. You may be like, no, I go in here all the time. Look, see, it's just a matter of time. You just haven't your business hasn't grown to the point of where that touching is gonna break it. But trust me, it's coming. So stop touching the tech. There's no rewards. I don't know if you're doing it to get a pat on the back or somebody to tell you how great it is. It's really a fairly rewardless industry. So, man, right?
Relinquish control. It's okay.
So you're not gaining anything. For us, it's a big part of what we do holistically. And what we get out of it is that your business is growing
Yeah.
continually. It's converting and revenue is coming in. So, anyways, all right, Samantha, before we go, give everybody your where they can find you, what you're up to, what they can connect with you on. Is it an audit? Is it a new course? What do you got in the pipeline to give to our folks?
Well, I have my from audit to automation where I set up, the foundational six systems we talk about all the time in our community. Getting that set up in your business, every business needs it. You can go to organizingguru.com/15 to jump on a call with me so we can talk about that more. I also have monthly, if you, again, don't want to touch your tech and, have either active campaign or keep, I can help maintain that for you on a monthly basis, CRM maintenance package. So definitely, again, go to organizingguru.com or organizingguru.com/15, and we can jump on the call so you can learn more about that. All of my services come with a comprehensive technology assessment of everything that's going on in your business, of your processes, and yeah, so that's you can find me on all social media. Just type in Samantha Pointer Fox. I'm on every platform basically. So yeah, just connect with me.
And I'll say this, everyone, you are amongst experts in our specific domain. So at a bare minimum, go visit the website and just get an assessment. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Is this the right stack? Is there any other recommendations? And come with an open mind to change, everyone. Come with an open mind to change. We're here to help. Samantha, thank you so much for coming back on to the podcast. Can't wait for the next episode where we'll continue this talk. Listen, if you all are enjoying this, let us know. Let us know. You can always send an email. You can always leave a comment in the Apple, Google sphere, wherever you subscribed. And you can always join the community. The link has been displaying on the podcast. If you're listening, it's automationbridge.com/community, I believe. And yes, so Samantha, thank you again. Greatly appreciate it. I know our listeners do as well. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. I'll see Samantha, I'll see you in the community.
Yes.